traditions of a people as a tribe, culture, or race, it is much more than what we define. Labeling our people's ways would imply that we risk losing the traditions that keep our community alive. This is annihilation. This is colonization. Our life is teaching our children and passing on our people's ways. Life is about knowing how to identify the seed, when to plant the seed, when to harvest the fruit. Our life is learning how to prepare the meal that comes from that fruit. Our life is knowing how to preserve the seed for future generations by harvesting that fruit that we planted. We were taught to identify the bird's feathers of prey from that of an eagle, owl, or red-tailed hawk. We know how to whittle wood and heat it in a fire to harden. We are taught how to build a fire so that the fire lasts through the night. We teach our children that the sinew is the fibrous substance that's on the back of the hide and how important it is to the clothing and tools that we use. We know how to twine rope from the fibers from the trees. We gather pine needles to make baskets. We gather clay to make bowls. We are taught to teach the children that every part of the animal is used, from the horn, brains, and toes. Labeling us as a cultural race diminishes us as a people. Although we face many changes, the fact remains that we are our ancestors. Our parents and grandparents and ancestors continue to teach the new generations of our community. Although we keep our traditions and stories alive, we face unfair and unjust regulations that do not consider who we are. We are the fiber of this community, and we are woven into this community. We are the foundation of this land, and we know this land. We recognize that little by little, a piece of our tradition is slowly unraveling, with every pinhole created by new rules set upon us by the greed of others, especially those from within. And with labels like this, we will die. With labels like this, we know our voices will be silenced one day. I am a part of a new generation to have experiences of being visible. We are at risk with those new generations after me. The new generations must keep the traditions to be alive and to be able to make a change. Decolonization is about our children being able to hunt and gather food, and allows our children to cook that hunt and gathered food. Decolonization will keep the traditions alive for our children, like holding the talking feather when speaking in the presence of adults, and how to sit and listen to the elders and as they tell the story, so they can learn the ways of our people to recognize why they do the things they do. Decolonization is not about us creating bylaws, rules, or create censorship of opinions not wanted by the rulers of colonization from within. Decolonization allows the children to sew leather and make their moccasins, and to wear the regalia to celebrate our ancestors. Decolonization teaches the children what we do when there's a naming ceremony, a big house ceremony, or a man or woman's rite of passage. Decolonization is learning about the gourd and the seed of the gourd, and to process the gourd and how gourds have been with us for thousands of years. Decolonization is about fishing and how to make a fish hook and to tie the net to catch that fish for a meal. Decolonization is preserving our land and planting the seed, not just the seed of the fruit that we harvest, but the seed of what we teach our children, so they continue to produce and grow and survive in this world. Decolonization is preserving the elder stories the recipes they cook, and how they live so we can continue this tradition. We are in a dangerous position with those that are leading that have no idea about our traditions. We have allowed colonization to take over from within with bureaucratic loopholes and self-centeredness so that we are not caring for our people. The new generation does not fish together. They do not drop off the fish to the elders to feed the neighbors. Our gatherings now consist of store-bought food because the new generations have not been taught how to cook the wild turkey or deer, or to make chow chow or muskrat soup. They don't know how to make snapper turtle soup or clam chowder. No one digs for the clams. No one gathers the crabs and walks the ditches. Our gatherings are now selling t-shirts and not learning how to do things the old ways. With this colonization from within, we are in a dangerous position that destroys us in our hearts and our souls. We have forgotten how hard it was for our previous generations, how they fought so that we can maintain our lifestyles, and the perils of what they went through and what they sacrificed for the ages. We have forgotten the many fights they fought for us so that we could survive to be who we are and no longer invisible. We have forgotten the sacrifices of our parents. We have forgotten the sacrifices that the children of this generation had to go through because our parents thought it was essential for them to maintain the lifestyles that we have today. We are in a dangerous place. And if we do not recognize the colonization that we have within, all of our parents have worked for will be lost for the next 7 generations. When I asked one of our community members to participate in a survey, they asked me, what has the tribe done for me? The tribe has done nothing for me. As they wore their beautiful regalia to be ready to enter into the dance circle. And this is only one example of how we are today, how colonization has indoctrinated our newest generation. And we must recognize and destroy colonization from within and return to our roots of who we were before we were annihilated and assimilated. My name is Ty, and I go by Human. And I would like to introduce my father, Chief Mark Whitehall Gould, and Tyrone Ellis, and we are here as 3 different generations and 3 different opinions of how our life is as a community.